Hey, welcome to Models and Agents, episode 63 on May 29th, 2026. Let's see what shipped. Let's see what happened in the AI world today. And trust me, it's been busy. Anthropic's $65 billion Series H at $965 billion valuation and $47 billion run rate revenue show Claude demand is scaling faster than most labs can match. Liquid AI shipped LFM 2.58 BA1B with 128K context after 38 trillion pre-training tokens. A monokernel on 8 AMD MI300X cards reached 3,300 output tokens per second on small models. Researchers also dropped Right Now Arabic 0.5B Turbo and Aryabhata 2, while local builders moved agents toward direct HTML rendering. Anthropic announced a $65 billion Series H round at a $965 billion post-money valuation. The round was led by Altimeter, Dragoneer, Green Oaks, and Sequoia. The company separately reported that run rate revenue crossed $47 billion earlier this month from enterprise cloud deployments. The new capital will expand research and inference capacity. The round highlights how quickly production usage of frontier models is growing across industries. Liquid AI released LFM 2.58 BA1B as an edge-focused model. It expands the prior LFM 2.8 BA1B with a 128K context window and 38 trillion tokens of pre-training, plus large-scale reinforcement learning. The model doubles the vocabulary to improve non-Latin tokenization and supports tool chaining on entry-level laptops. It is available now on Hugging Face. Right now, Arabic 0.5B Turbo is a 518 million parameter Arabic specialized decoder. It was built on Qwen 2.5 0.5B by adding 27,032 Arabic tokens and continued pre-training on 504 million Arabic tokens. The model reaches 35.9% mean accuracy on Arabic COPA, HeliSwag, and MMLU benchmarks. The quantized build runs at 635 tokens per second on a single H100. Aryabhata 2 is a reasoning-focused model post-trained from GPT-OSS-20B via reinforcement learning on PhysicsWallah question banks. It outperforms the base model on JEE Main, JEE Advanced, NEET, AIME, and GPQA while using up to 64% fewer output tokens. The training combined prolonged reinforcement learning with larger rollout groups. Users report Gemma 426BA4B running well on M5 Pro hardware. It shows strong generalist performance across creative writing, debugging, image classification, and tool-augmented chat. The model uses less memory than Qwen 3.635 BA3B while displaying more personality. A coding agent setup now renders responses directly as HTML in the browser. Switching the system prompt from Markdown to HTML improved diagram quality and structure with inline SVGs, tables, and diagrams. The approach works with Qwen 3.627B and requires only a simple prompt change plus a web UI. A new monokernel runs the full decode sequence as one GPU resident program on 8 times MI300X. It maps memory access to die topology and achieves up to 3,300 output tokens per second per request at batch size 1 with no quantization. The team plans future support for large mixture of experts models. A LoRa-based method uses hidden state probes to teach models to verbalize their actual confidence. The approach works across 7B to 70B models from 4 families with only a few hundred examples and under 10 minutes on an M3 Ultra. Activation patching confirms the effect is causal. Early benchmarks on an M5 Max with 128 GB show step-fun 3.7 flash, delivering usable speeds at 32K to 64K context in Q4KS quantization. The model remains responsive below 16K context. Test LFM 2.58 BA1. B on a local laptop for tool chaining workflows, where 128K context matters more than raw size. Switch an existing coding agent prompt to HTML output and measure how quickly diagram rendering improves without extra post-processing. Run the probe-targeted LoRa recipe on a 7B to 13B model you already use for agent decision-making to reduce overconfident errors. Benchmark StepFun 3.7 Flash against Gemma 426B on your M-series hardware for mixed creative and coding tasks. More teams are expected to release small, specialized models after the Arabic and STEM examples shown today. Additional monokernel and single-program inference work on AMD and Apple Silicon hardware is likely as memory bandwidth remains the bottleneck. Continued experiments with HTML and structured output formats for agents will appear as builders move away from Markdown defaults. Okay, let's pop the hood on the probe-targeted fine-tuning approach. Everyone talks about LLM confidence as a simple prompt fix. In practice, the model already encodes correctness signals in its hidden states at 0.76 to 0.88 AUROC. Yet surface text stays stuck at 99% because of training dynamics. The method extracts those internal signals with linear probes, then uses the probe outputs as fine-tuning targets. This adds almost no inference cost after the short LoRa pass and works across model scales because the probe only needs to read one activation position. The quality gain is largest on mid-sized models. At 70B, the softmax already carries usable signal, but the argmax text still collapses. Activation patching at the exact confidence token moves the output distribution with correlation 0.976. Apply it when you need the model to admit uncertainty on factual or multi-step tasks. Skip it if your pipeline already filters low probability tokens downstream. The gotcha that bites most teams is seed sensitivity in the shape of the confidence distribution, even when discrimination stays stable. Tomorrow, keep an eye on more small, specialized models and further monokernel inference experiments on AMD hardware. That wraps up today's AI briefing. Share this with a developer or builder who wants to stay current. Subscribe wherever you listen. See you tomorrow. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.